Hello everybody and welcome back to Robert's Reviews. Today is Friday, which means I try to do at least one new release. And there were two that I was interested in watching today. One of them, there's three technically, but one of them is only in theaters and I don't have a theater nearby. So I tried to find the other one so I could watch two, but I couldn't find it anywhere. So I'm assuming it got delayed, or maybe it's just not out for renting yet. But I was able to watch this one. So today, let's go ahead and start talking about My True Fairytale. My True Fairytale was released in 2021, and it was written and directed by D. Mitri. So, this is a non-spoiler review, so it's going to be kind of short because there's not really a whole lot I can talk about this movie without spoiling anything. But essentially, it's about this girl who dreams of becoming her own superhero in her own fairy tale, okay? And she gets in this giant car crash, and her, wish comes true, where she can be a superhero and stuff. And this next bit might be a spoiler, so if you really don't like spoilers, don't follow it, but it really isn't that big of a spoiler because it's pretty obvious. She turns into a ghost because she dies, right? Okay, so, now that spoilers are the way we can talk about something. So her friends are, on these weird lives where, their parents are kind of mean to them, and they're trying to figure out, how can I do what I want to do if my parents are like this, right? And so she, as a ghost, basically goes around and is like, I'm going to help and touch here, touch there. And she, helps their lives a little bit. But it's weird because they never tell you that she's a ghost until the end. And they don't show you, that she is a ghost until the very end. And then the way that they show you in the end is really dumb because it's, all to the camera, breaking the fourth wall garbage, where you're like, I knew it was you all along. And then they show a little clip of her being there. And it's we could have done it without the voiceovers, I think, and it might have actually been better, because it kind of took me out of the moment when I was like, oh, why do they all of a sudden know it was you? That doesn't make any sense at all. It really wasn't planned out very well, I think. The movie as a whole is very disappointing. It feels like a movie that I could get behind. The content is really cool. Oh, wow, she can be a superhero and do all this kind of cool stuff because she's dead. And I was like, that's a pretty cool concept. I love young adult fiction and stuff like that. This felt very much like that. But the way that the movie was made was just not very good. The editing is incredibly not good. We follow these weird sequences of scenes that don't go next to each other. And we're not even with our main character a lot of the time. I'm only talking about two of the actors because they were on the screen the most. And, there's also, 20 characters in this movie, and we're only focusing on, 2 or 3 of them, and the rest of them are just, very background, but they're also main characters because they have to do with the main character, because without these side characters, then the main character would have nothing to do. I get it, but it was also only an hour and 40 minutes long, and I'm like, you could have made it a little longer and explored some backstories with all these characters, and they kind of just told you everything you needed to know, without actually showing you. If you're a moviegoer that likes to just watch a movie for no reason and just kind of watch it, this is probably one for you, because it tells you everything that you need. It walks you through it until the very end, and it's oh, but this actually happened. It really wasn't very well done. This movie fails to capture the attention of me. I'm just generally not interested in what this movie was trying to do. I think it would have been a really cool idea. It could have been really, really interesting and really cool. It just kind of fell flat here, and I think that they knew that it was going to fall flat. I think to some certain extent they understood that it probably wasn't going to go very well. But they could have fixed it with just better editing, a little bit longer of a runtime, and just better characters overall, and maybe less characters. It's not very well thought out, not very well put together. I just didn't like it very much. Let's talk about some of the acting first. Emma Kennedy as Angie Goodwin. She's pretty good. I mean, the issue that I have is that we don't get a whole lot of Angie, and she's the girl that dies. So it's you think we get a whole lot of her because she's the main character superhero lady, but you really get none of her, and it's kind of weird because you only physically see her help one person, and it's her dad. The rest of it's unseen, and it's really weird. And you kind of understand that it's happening, but at the same time, it's not really. Until the very end, where it's confirmed that it's happening. But even at that last moment when it's confirmed, it's kind of just, it's weird, it's dumb, it's not very thought out. I think, in my opinion, it's not very well thought out. it's kind of disappointing. It really is. I think that it could have been better. Her acting wasn't bad. I think her performance is pretty good. But it wasn't something Oscar-worthy either. Derry Ingolfson as Dean Goodwin. He plays the father. He's like the main character, I think, besides her. We get more of him than anybody else in the movie. I'm pretty confident. He has no screen time. And he's really cool because he's got this girlfriend he likes that's like moving, and he wants to tell her that he loves her but doesn't really know how. And she comes in, his daughter is like, I can help you, and like helps him, which is cool. But also at the same time, you don't know what exactly is going on because she said she comes in through like the back door, like with the spare key. But then later on, they're like, oh wait, but we never put the spare key there. And it's like, yeah, we know. We're already 2 steps ahead of you here. And then they really walk you through it. And it's like, oh, why'd you have to walk me through it? You could have, at the end of the movie, if you just like showed her having the key on the ring, that might have been like way better of an ending. Because I'd be like, ooh, like that would have been like really surprising. It wasn't. But his character's fun. And I think that like, having more backstory for him might have been cool. But they didn't. Overall, a really kind of a disappointing movie. I was looking forward to this one and was kind of let down. I'm excited to see what other people think. I could be wrong. Maybe people are like, this is like one of the best movies of all time. I don't really like it almost at all. It's kind of disappointing. There's some really interesting parts. Like, again, I think it's a cool basic idea. And some parts do manage to help people feel something. But for the most part, it falls flat. And I don't think that it worked the way that they thought it was going to work. And so I'm going to go ahead and give my True Fairytale a C+. We haven't been hitting it very large with these new releases recently. I'm hoping we get some better ones coming out soon. This is it for this week. Next week we have Jacob's Wife and Monday. I believe I'm watching those two. The following week we have Bloodthirsty, Mortal Kombat, and Wild Cat. I don't know how many of those I'll get through, but I know I'm going to watch Mortal Kombat. And I'd like to watch Bloodthirsty, but we'll see. So that's a couple vampire movies coming out the next couple weeks. But stay tuned for those. Consider subscribing if you guys like new releases and stuff. I do them every Friday. And then I have other things coming out every single day of the week, so make sure you guys are subscribing and following along. And as always, keep watching movies and television, stay educated, and I'll see you guys in the next video.